Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Guild Wars 1 Let's Play. We are here in the Central Transfer Chamber to do the final mission of the game before we get on to the dungeons. I hope you are excited. Today we are doing, I think it's called A Time for Heroes. A Time for Heroes, yeah. Long have I studied the Tome of Rubicon, the lore of the Great Destroyer. Never did I expect the Great Destroyer would surface a lifetime. I was trying to strike the Great Destroyer. Without the power of the Great Dwarf, your attack has little chance of success. However, given the size of your party, you may be able to slip through. Will you continue this plan? It must be stopped. There is no other way. A Time for Heroes. So, I have no clue how much of a pain in the butt this mission is going to be completely honest with you. I think I probably should have bought anti-knockdown, but worry about that when we get there. I have a feeling it won't be too bad, but I could completely be wrong about this. So that's the Great Destroyer back there with the giant statue of Kraukatork. It's either Kraukatork or it's one of his minions. I don't... excuse me, Primordius. It's Primordius or it's one of his minions. I actually am not 100% sure. Alright. It's go time, big boy. Well, I had not expected that to be the outcome. We just two-shot him. I love the skills of this game.
Right. With the death of their master, destroyers lost their coordination. Chalice and his dwarves pursued them into the depths of the earth. Legends were born that day.
You're goddamn right, I'm a legend.
And while this threat was ended, the legends would continue. In the years to come, new threats would arise in Tyria. New creatures would stir.
That's the hinting of the Solvari. That's what that plan is.
New sacrifices would be made.
Livia and the Scepter of War. That story's continued in Guild Wars 2.
And the greatest threat of all was yet to come. A threat that would consume the entire world.
Setting up Guild Wars 2.
The greatest of heroes. The children of the legends.
Cool setup for Guild Wars 2. I actually think the Guild Wars 2, this might be a little bit, like, whatever, but I actually think the enemies in Guild Wars 2, like, the actual bad guys are a bit lamer. The dragons are a lot less lame, or a lot more lame compared to the things we fight here in, this version of Guild Wars, in my personal opinion, just because, I don't know, it's just, they're not as cool. But here we are in the final section of the game. We have Draknar here. Talk to this boy. Thank you. Without your courage and leadership, the world would have fallen into the depravity and machinations of the stories. You truly are a hero among heroes. Your legend will never be forgotten. I am Draknar, ancient leader of the dwarves. Our time as a race is drawing to a close. Those who have undergone the right have become weapons that will conquer or perish. Trying is their final duty to hold the line. I come to you now and thanks for what you have done, not only for my people, but for all of Tyria. Ancient treasure yours. Please take this now and claim your reward. When you're ready to leave, send me back to Inorth. Thank you, Draknar. So we get Draknar's key. The whole goon squad's here. Gwen Empire. These bad guys should know by now. You can't stop a real hero. When you set your mind to victory, the world has no choice but to hear your roar. That's the difference between a hero and a corpse. The Char is right. This time I suspect the world has not heard the last of you. A human agreeing with the Char without insults strike me as senseless. I am amazed that they even talk to each other. There may be hope yet. And here's some of the Vanguard chilling over here. There's Anton over here, who we got as a side hero. Some of the Vanguards. The henchmen are all hanging out. You know, they've been going through the story with us, technically. There's Ula over there and some of the Asuran. You know, the whole crew. Haida, Barlos, Livia, these are the Shining Blade people we've met in this campaign. Here are the Char we met in the campaign. The Norn we've met in the campaign. That kind of stuff. I'm actually not sure what I want to spend these keys on. I know I need weapons with them. I'm just going to quickly go and double check what weapons I actually need. I'm going to get some hero weapons with this. But I'm not exactly sure what I... Okay, here we go. Weaponsmith. She makes a Resto Focus, but not a Resto Wand. Okay, Resto Wands, that's what we need. Here's the the credits. So we are looking for a Ritualist chest. Ritualist Assassin. I think a lot of these have very good, like, weapons in them. Here we go, Ritualist chest. So we could pick from any of these. Importantly, these are actually the caster weapons from this campaign were extremely good because they're 40-40 greens. Not the staffs. The staffs are okay, but the focuses and wands are actually pretty sought after because they're 40-40. I think in general these had like some of the better mods of all the different campaigns on weapons because this was like the final one, so they knew what they were doing. So we need restoration scepters. 1, 2 restoration scepters. All right. But yeah, credits, fireworks, everybody's here. Pretty cool. Kind of a short game, kind of a, you know, I guess not short. This is one of our longer Let's Play series, but that's because I did more side quests this one. Without the side quests, it would have been a lot shorter. Oh, there's Xandra over there and Kamatu. Those are both from the great Norn fighting stuff. Here's Pyre's Fierce Band, or Warband. Here's Blobby over here. This is from one of the dungeons, I believe. Glob, 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 indeed. There's a Bear Spirit over there. Here we go, talk to Bear Spirit. Maybe Bear Spirit talks to Jorah. But yeah, this is one of the much shorter campaigns, but I think one of the cooler ones. This one was mainly built to set up Guild Wars 2. Sadly, we'll never get the campaign that this was supposed to be. This was supposed to be sort of a... there's some hints at it. It was like a Mayan-themed expansion on like a disappearing island lost in time. We were going to get the Chronomancer and the Summoner as classes. That would have been sweet. But instead, they decided to go the Guild Wars 2 direction, which... Hey, Guild Wars 2 had a good run. I don't fault anyone for still liking it, but I personally think it peaked a while ago. Unlike kind of this game, where this game got much better the more expansions it added, I think Guild Wars 2 kind of got worse, and I think to a degree that's just in part their focus compared to my interests. Like the dungeons and the structured PvP in that game at endgame were absolute class. Like the dungeons were easy, but they were about being fast. It was like speed running, which is something that I think is really cool. So, a little sad that they decided to eventually go the more standard raid boss fight, even though their combat is built around changing your build for different situations. The fact that they just went with a DPS it till it burns kind of combat is pretty depressing. And the PvP was very good, but power balance and mobility balance really has kind of messed with the game mode and how you can make rotations and stuff like that. Again, it not necessarily a bad thing, but just bad for me because I was really into what they had. And then when they decided that the PvP needed to be faster mobility, less team focus with a lot of the portal changes, and the PvE moved to a more standard hit a golem till it dies kind of style versus the speedrun style that dungeons were. Just personally not my thing, especially because the Guild Wars 1 endgame was very much that speedrun style of endgame. But, you know, to each their own. I'm not going to fault anyone for liking it, and I definitely have enjoyed it at times and do enjoy it somewhat still. But I think this game overall is better in my humble opinion, even still to this day. I think the gameplay is just better. Like, the skill builds and the endgame loop is a mile better than Guild Wars 2 is, in my opinion. The PvP is the only thing that might not be better, but that's just because both PvPs are so good. I think Guild Wars 2 probably has the best PvP system of any MMO, even if current balance and stuff like the condition uncapping kind of turn it into a skillless, brainless mess. The actual way that the game mode is set up leads to very deep, complex gameplay that's fun. But yeah, this is by no means the end. Like I said, we still have plenty of Eye of the North to go through. 12 episodes, or 13 episodes maybe. I'm not sure if one or two of the dungeons might be multiple episodes. And then we get into Guild Wars Beyond. Guild Wars Beyond was content added after the end of Eye of the North, and there's one for each campaign, except I never got to the Nightfall one. We're going to do the Eye of the North one first, then the Prophecies, then the Factions one. We're probably actually also going to do the Factions one in hard mode, which is something that not a lot of people do, so that should be interesting to watch if you want to watch me cry. But yeah, I want to thank you all for coming out. I hope you have a great day. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.